3 months ago, after finishing my very first test multiplayer game, I decided to make a new multiplayer game called God's Table. But before diving into this big, completely original project, one that I'm pouring all my soul, passion and energy into, let me take you back to where everything began. This is day 0, and the question is, what kind of multiplayer experience do I want to give players? Well, if you're new to the channel, you should know that from the start I've always wanted to make horror survival games. So first off, I started on TikTok, sharing remakes of successful games like Slenderman. Then I tried some experiments blending the mood of Harry Potter in a scary maze. And well, this one was very buggy as you can see. Because yeah, believe it or not, I didn't even know performance was a thing. Yeah, that's how clueless I was. Later, I made Break Zombie. Oh my god, my very first original single player game. I mean, is spawning in an underground garage connected to a subway station, taking down female zombies an original idea? I don't know, it's a weird one for sure. But regardless, I had a blast making this game. Oh, by the way, what you see here was just me improvising a lot actually, tackling challenges day by day, while also posting shots on TikTok. I was making tens of thousands of views a day, so I was like, well, let's keep going, you know. And bro, that was the most intense rush I've ever had. I had just 24 hours to work on the game, edit a new shot about it, and trying to make it both funny and entertaining. Like what? That's basically nightmare mode in real life. I was so tired. But you know what? That's how passionate I am when it comes to making games, especially survival ones. So eventually, I knew I had to make a multiplayer game that combined survival with a touch of horror, which is cool, right? Okay, then let's go. Oh, but wait. We forgot something so important. What will be the game about? And where will it take place? It might be useful to know that even before doing anything, I guess. To answer these questions, let me take you back 2 years ago. Back then, I didn't know how to code in Blueprint, and C++ was as terrifying to me as, well, as my mom when I was still playing video games at 1 AM. Trust me, I cannot tell you, but I have some trauma, okay? But what I did know was 3D modeling. You see, there are 2 types of 3D artists. Organic artists make curvy stuff like characters and complex props, and hard surface artists who work with primitive polygonal shapes. And it's not because they're working with cubes all days that these guys are necessarily stupid. I mean, well, my little brother does this too, but anyway, sometimes it's a mix of both. For instance, this model, which needed both curves and hard edges, like yo. So 3D was crucial to bringing my ideas to life, and the game idea I had was called the Fast Food Nightmare. It is set in a cursed fast food restaurant where food turns into disgusting monsters that make you their prey, flipping the roles entirely. For this one, I worked on multiple monsters directly in 3D. Now the reason is, back then, I didn't have any concept art or any other artistic skills, but to design the environment, alien isolation and poppy playtime were my go-to place. Now, in Fast Food Nightmare, you control the guy who uses sauces as weapons to fight the monsters. Ridiculous? Nah, come on. Well, okay, maybe a little bit. But wait, check this out. There was also a crafting system with different sauce combos to fight various cursed food. And what did you say? Oh, it's worse. Heck, okay. Because to me, the gameplay was clear, the environment was coming together, everything was going well, until I received this message. There we have a new problem, because to be honest, I didn't have many ideas left, and I was really running on fumes mentally. But like they say, it's better to do something than nothing, right? So I read again this gigantic book called The Art of Game Design, where the author said something that really stuck with me. He basically said, every idea starts as trash before it gets better through tweaks and iterations. So I decided not to completely scrap the idea, but to make it evolve, actually. When I was making Dumb Snake, my trashy multiplayer test project, yeah, let's call it what it is, there was a lot of back and forth with Goa, and that's what really helped the game go from this to this. You see the difference? And that's why I really thought hard about how to evolve this idea. To begin with, the game went from single player to multiplayer and was now taking place in a 5-star hotel. You will take orders from the kitchen, search the hotel for ingredients, and then go back to cook recipes for animals, monsters. And now you might ask, where are the horror and the survival elements? Well, they were still there because the hotel has multiple rooms, all filled with scary monsters you'd have to venture into to collect ingredients. But now there was also also the added pressure of time with the cooking aspect, which makes speedrunning in multiplayer very interesting for this game. And to make this horror survival cooking game even spicier, pun intended, Goa suggested we emphasize gameplay around the hunt for ingredients. You'd go outside the hotel to look for things like hunting animals in the forest or fishing on the beach, while still keeping the horror aspect with monsters lurking. So now the game became a survival horror open world game. Wait, open world? Man, I don't even know a single multiplayer horror game that's open world. It's like Unicorns, it doesn't even exist. Well, I do know The Forest, but this is a survival game, not a horror one. Now I can still take some inspiration from it eventually, but I also didn't know what historical context the game will be set in. Goa suggested the medieval period, but honestly I wasn't really excited about that. But guess what? As I was browsing the Megascan library for free assets to use in my prototype, the moment I saw this Greek asset pack, I thought, wait a minute, what if I made a survival horror game in ancient Greece where players start as poor Greek mercenaries traveling through multiple mythological biomes filled with scary, ridiculous and even memeable creatures, all to cook for the gods. And that's when I thought, bro, I got a killer idea. Then later, Goa came up with the name God's Table, and that's when it all came to life. Now I'll talk more about the gameplay, the map, the concept art and all the rest in the next devlog, so make sure to like and subscribe and I see you in the next episode.